Now we move on to the next conference, which is Bethesda. Why was this so disappointing? I don't know what happened. Like I was talking to a couple of people. Like, I was like, I just watched the Bethesda conference, and I'm like, what the heck did I just watch? Like, what happened? And because I'm gonna flat out tell you, there's only 2 games on here. There would have been only one if they didn't show like this other game, which I will be telling you about. But before I get into that, there was one game that I'm not putting on here because honestly it doesn't interest me and I don't have the time for that type of game, which is Elder Scrolls Online. I'm not really big with the online Elder Scrolls stuff, and I virtually don't know what it is. I know it'll be like pretty much like older games. Basically, it looks to me like World of Warcraft and everything else, just like probably much more actiony than World of Warcraft. But the reason I'm talking about this is that they take an idea that really rubs me the wrong way. Even for a person that really is not playing this game, it just rubs me the wrong way. Because it feels like they're taking a very big element away from an RPG. And hopefully this makes sense to you for people who play RPGs. I don't know if you'll have the same kind of idea from what I'm about to say. Is that basically also before that, there was a lot of girls. There was a lot of girls going nuts for Elder Scrolls Online, which is a good thing. If a lot of girls do play Elder Scrolls Online, good for them. I do accept girls playing video games. Like it's a thing. I don't bash gamer girls. I don't necessarily like praise them. I say that they do what they do. Anything a girl can do, anything a guy can do, a girl can do, and that one thing is video games. But the thing is that you just hear them screaming at the top of their lungs every time this man finishes a sentence about Elder Scrolls Online, and I'm just laughing my head off because it's just so funny. I don't know why. But the thing about it, the whole mess I want to talk about, is that they go on to say that they're going to be doing something, like they're going to change something. And that change is that once you get out of the tutorial, your character will be all the way leveled up, and you'll be able to basically play every mission, join the alliance, and all that other stuff that you would do for like a MMO kind of a game. See, the problem I have with that is, if there's leveling up in the game, then why are you taking that away? Like, you're basically taking the leveling away, and you're basically saying, here, you're going to be high leveled from the start. You can do whatever you want. Like, in a way, that's a good thing, but that hinders a very bad thing for a RPG element. Like, here's something that I see as an RPG. One of the things that keeps me coming back to an RPG is to do level ups and for battling higher leveled enemies, because really that helps me come back to it as like, oh, this high level monster killed me. I'll have to go back and level up a couple bit, just grind a little bit. That, to me, that gives me more of an incentive to do leveling, and that also kind of gives me incentive to basically come back to the game. And it was like, okay, I've been away from this game for a while, and I remember that I was grinding to fight a high level boss or a high level enemy. So I just continue doing that if I hadn't reached it. So it kind of, if you know what I'm getting at, it kind of gives you that incentive to keep playing. All right. To me, I feel that's a very, very bad thing. If your game is dedicated to doing leveling up and stuff, then why take that away? It seems like you're just basically copying out of it. I don't know. That's just my opinion. If you feel completely different, if you're okay with that, then all power to you. But for me, it just rubs me the wrong way. But I'm not going to say much more about it because really I'm not into this whole Elder Scrolls Online thing. And also the remastered Elder Scrolls game, the latest one, remastered on the new consoles. It looks very good, by the way. But let's actually move on to the games. I talked about 5 minutes of that, and that's kind of a good thing because there's only 2 games, so that's kind of a good thing. First game off is, it seemed like a new game, and I don't know if this is like supposed to be like some kind of reboot or some kind of sequel to an old game, which I've never seen like this old game that they're referencing from another that's the same name. The game is called Prey. I believe I heard Prey somewhere before. I know it's an older game, but I don't have any knowledge of this. But when I hear when I hear about it, and there was just probably a good chunk of people saying, "What is this? Like, is this a reboot? Is this a new game? Is this a sequel to Prey? Like, is this Prey 2?" Really, I don't know much about it. I'm taking it as a new game, so that's how I'm pushing it. If you know more about it, then please comment down below and talk about it, like, really, because you would be helping me out, because I honestly don't know. There was no gameplay. It was mainly I guess you would say, cinematic trailer, basically of a guy waking up in it, like an announcer is like, "Good morning, such and such," because I can't remember the name for the god of me. That it's Monday at this such and such time, and the guy's going off getting coffee, basically getting up for the day. Gets on a suit, and then it cuts, and then it replays, then cuts, and then replays again, and you're seeing everything just like change. Like the mug is like possessed with the coffee in it. The guy basically looks at his hands, and it's like very black looking around him. He goes up to like the mirror, which he also does like through the cuts that he does. He goes to the mirror. He looks at his eye, and it's completely bloody, like bloodshot red, and it cuts to a point where it seems like that he's looking in the mirror, and it seems like that he's talking to himself, or like the reflection is like, you know how in like movies how you look in the reflection and your reflection is like talking to you, and you're like kind of like in the mental kind of state type deal. That's basically what it was. And then it shows off to the title Prey, and that's really all they showed. They didn't show any gameplay or nothing. Like I said, if you know more anything about what's going on here, because they really didn't specify anything, they just said, "Hey, this game's coming out." But really, I'm interested to see what's going on, because if it's going to be like a psychological thing, I'm super pro to that, because I do like the type of games that do kind of give you like the psychological kind of turn for a game. It kind of brings a good dynamic for a character. And then last on this list is Dishonored 2, and I heavily liked Dishonored 1. I didn't finish it. I need to, but I just don't got the time of day for it right now. But Dishonored 2, it looks very, very good. But the demo they were showing off, and like all this other stuff, was very, very cringy. So let me go through it. Excuse me, still dealing with the sickness, so I'm gonna be clearing my throat. Multiple times, I will say, you see a bird in both the trailer and I believe also in the game demo. I want to say, I don't remember exactly, and it makes me upset. Where the bird, it doesn't move. It's just staggered in the one position, and then the first time you see it, it hovers. It doesn't move or nothing. It doesn't go forward, it doesn't go backwards. It just hovers, and it seems like it's coming down. That was probably the most funniest thing I had seen. And the stream I was watching, the chat was just blowing up about it. It was like, oh my god. They did show some in a lot of the. Let me start over, tongue tied. I do like the fact that you get to play as Emily in this one, because of course in the first Dishonored game, Emily is just a little girl at this point in the first game, and your basically main objective as Corvo is to basically go and retrieve her, get her back after her mother was killed, and with her being the main character you playing as, it's very interesting to see, because I do think that playing as a female protagonist is actually pretty cool, because it's different, because you really don't see it a whole lot, and a lot of them aren't like traditional, like very good protagonists. A lot of them just are usually meant for just for the sake of it. A lot of them just aren't represented like very, very right, if you know what I'm talking about. But they did talk about that you could actually play as Corvo, which throws me off, because usually sometimes I don't like the fact that you play as a character, but like you play them as in first person, where you don't have a face and you don't have a voice. It throws me off so much, and sometimes I don't like it, because they gave Corvo a face. He's very old, because of course time has passed, and they give him a voice. Another similar example to that is Isaac Clarke from Dead Space, where in the first one he didn't have a face, and he didn't have a voice in the very first one, but it was third person, but still. And then as time went past for Dead Space 2 and 3, they gave him a voice and they also gave him a face. So, but at least that character was okay. So I'll give it that in that regard. But they did show us some interesting, different kind of spells that you could do. Of course, Blink, I believe is the name of the ability, where you could teleport from a distance. That was in the first one. It was still a pretty good ability. One of them feel like very, very overpowered, and one of them is called Domino, where basically you tag one enemy, and whatever happens to that enemy happens to all the other ones that you tag. I feel like that's overpowered, and it's like, I think the limit might have been 4, because that's how many they've done so far. I don't know, it feels like it's very overpowered. I feel like that if they done it for maybe 2, like if you tag one and then tag another, then I'll be fine with it. But 4 just seems like it's kind of excessive, and probably be overpowering and overtaking the enemies around you. I don't know. And then they have like the ability that they showed off in the if I remember the reveal trailer about it last time, I believe last E3, was a Shadow Walker, which I guess you become a shadow, and it really does look very, very gruesome what you're able to do with that ability. Excuse me. I ate before I started filming. But really, that's all there was. Like, the gameplay demo itself was very, very cringy, because there were a lot of points where the person that was playing felt like that he didn't know what he was doing. Like, I don't know. And also, by the way, the game does look very, 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 very nice. It does look very awesome in their graphic style. The different environments and how the characters do look. It kind of feeds off of a kind of BioShock type vibe. Just a tiny bit, not entirely, but really, that's all I gotta say for Bethesda. And really, like, there was only like one other game that did interest me, was Quake Champions. I believe I've seen Quake before, but I didn't put on the list because it was most likely going to be a multiplayer only, and I'm not a very big person when it comes to multiplayer only games. There's like only a few that I'll touch, but the others I probably will never really get to play. But really, that's all that Bethesda really had, for me at least, in my eyes. Of course, you're prone to have your own opinions, and people see these things as different ways. All I'm doing is giving you how my thoughts and my opinions towards them. So that's really it for Bethesda. For me, it was very disappointing because last year they were going strong with Fallout 4, with Doom, and then the reveal with Dishonored 4. Dishonored 4. Golly, we're a long way from there. Dishonored 2. Let me correct myself. Dishonored 2, and my hair just won't stay in its place. But really, like, this year, it was very, very disappointing because it really didn't seem like they were showing a whole lot. But, I don't know, that's my opinion. In the comment section below, please feel free to talk about what you liked throughout the Bethesda conference, that you, if you had the opportunity to see it live or watch it on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until the next one, I'm Master Venture Wonder, signing out till next time. See everybody, have an awesome day.